When you make this vortex really, really important, and you decide that nothing is more important than that I feel good, because when I feel good, when I'm full of love, I'm in there with all that I am. And when I'm full of hate, I'm outside the vortex on the raw and ragged edge of things. So when you become acquainted consciously and deliberately with the guidance system that you are born with, when you start paying attention to the vibrational frequencies of harmony and allowing and alignment and blending, or of resistance and discord, when you start paying attention to the way you feel, you'll know whether you're in tune with who you are or not. Now, here's the most important part of all of this, because some of you are hearing us in this context. You've come this far with us. You say, all right, Abraham, I accept that source exists, and I accept that I exist, and I can sort of kind of get it, that I can feel when I'm in sync with the love of source and when I'm not. And we say, but the story is bigger still. The reason that you, in your physical body, feel any negative emotion or any positive emotion, the reason that you feel the vibrational relationship is because in your living of life, you keep asking for more. And in that asking, hear this, in that asking, you keep becoming. When you ask, you become immediately what you're asking for. When you are sick and you ask for wellness, vibrationally speaking, you become it immediately. So the larger part of you has become well in your asking. And asking and asking and asking and asking and asking and asking. It happened the first time, but each time you ask, you amend the desire. So the vibrational body, that is you, has become weller every time you were sick. The vibrational beingness of you became more prosperous every time you felt not enough of something that you wanted or needed. So this vibrational aspect of you has already become more, and the emotion that you feel is completely and only about how well you're keeping up with your expansion or not. So there are two ways that you can tell if you're a match to what you want or if you're a match to what you don't want. If you're a match to the presence of what you want or if you're a match to the absence of what you want. One really obvious way, it's manifesting if you're a match to it. In other words, when you are a match to what you want, it's showing up in your life experience. The other way is you can tell by the way you feel, whether you're moving toward or away from what you are really looking for. We really prefer to teach you about your emotions, which help you to know whether you are lining up with or moving away from what you want, because that's really what you came forth to do as genius creator that you are. You want to mold the clay, the creative clay of this time-space reality. And the way you mold that clay is by molding the energy or the thought vibration through your focus. If you wait until it manifests, we call that post-manifestational awareness. Oh, don't like that. Didn't mean to do that. Whoops. It's hard to suck it back, isn't it? Once it's manifested, once it's in your body or not in your bank account, or once your relationship has crumbled or your empire, once you are discordant from what you are wanting to the degree that the discordant has manifested rather than the harmony, you still can turn it around, but it's harder. It's much easier to catch it in the early subtle stages. And we want today to show you the difference between what you think of as control or power and what we know is ultimate control and empowerment. In other words, when you are wanting to control someone, think about something all out of whack, and you are feeling bad as you are observing it. Whether it's about your world economy, whether it's about your own personal experience, something that you cannot control. There are too many moving parts, and as you attempt to control it, you can't. Well, that feeling of control is right over there next to the fear that you've been feeling, right next to the despair that you've been feeling. That control that you try to muster is right there with revenge and anger, isn't it? That feeling of control that so many people want is way over there on the emotional scale, right next to your greatest disempowerment, where empowerment is on the opposite end of the emotional scale. Empowerment is you being in vibrational alignment or in vibrational sync with who you really are. That's your ultimate empowerment, you see. And yet there are so many people who are really against the idea of seeking any sort of control, because in seeking control there is a sort of not letting go. And we want you to understand that we agree. You cannot let go and allow who you really are when you are seeking power or when you are seeking control. But if you can find today, and we will lay it out for you in such obvious way, if you can find today the difference between control, which is an outside the vortex attempt at moving circumstances and events in order to get things in a place that they feel better, and true empowerment, which is getting into the vortex and therefore in alignment with who you really are, you will discover some keys that will feel like magic to you. Subtle differences in terminology, huge differences in vibration. And when you discover alignment with this energy that creates worlds, you will find true empowerment. You will find the empowerment that you came forth to express through your creative lens. Now, the reason that we are so animated about helping you to understand this is because we want you to understand that you are vibrational beings, you are source energy beings, you are God in physical bodies. And as you've come forth from this non-physical realm, a part of that consciousness has come into the personality that you know as you. That means there are potentially two vibrational aspects of you. Now, the reason we say two potential aspects, they're almost always without exception, are two vivid vibrational aspects of you. But you could, in your physical body, in any moment of time, be so vibrationally attuned to who you really are. You could be in a moment of rapturous love. And when you're doing that in your physical body, there is only one vibration that's happening. In other words, you bring your physical vibration into complete alliance or harmony or accord or allowing with the vibration of who you really are.